Number 2, understanding the two types of decryption, inbound SSL and outbound SSL decryption, also known as SSL forward proxy. Number 3, to ensure the proper certificate authority is installed on the firewall and export the certificate authority to install on client machines. Number 4, configuring the SSL decryption rules. Number 5, to enable SSL decryption notification page as an optional component. And lastly, to commit the changes and to test the decryption. We'll start off with what is SSL decryption. SSL, which is a secure sockets layer, is a security protocol that encrypts the data to help keep data secure while on the internet. SSL certificates have a key pair, a public and a private key. These keys work together to establish an encrypted connection. PAN-OS has the ability to decrypt and inspect SSL connections going through the firewall. Both inbound and outbound SSL connections can be decrypted and inspected. SSL decryption can occur on interfaces in a virtual wire or layer 3 mode. The decryption rule base is used to configure which traffic to decrypt. In particular, decryption can be based upon URL categories as well as source, user, and source target or destination addresses. Once traffic is decrypted, tunneled applications can be detected and controlled, and the decrypted data can be inspected for threats, URL filtering, file blocking, and/or data filtering. Please note that the decrypted traffic is never sent off of the device. Number 2 is to understand the two types of decryption. Inbound SSL decryption. In this case, inbound traffic would be destined to an internal web server or device. In order to configure this properly, the administrator imports a copy of the protected server's certificate and key. Once the SSL server certificate is loaded onto the firewall, and an SSL decryption policy is configured for the inbound traffic, the device will be able to decrypt and read the traffic as long as it forwards it on. No changes will be made to the packet data, and the secured channel will be built from the client system to the internal server. The firewall will be able to detect malicious content and control applications running over this secure channel. Outbound SSL decryption is the second type of decryption, also known as SSL forward proxy. In this case, the firewall proxies the outbound SSL connections. It intercepts the outbound SSL request and generates a certificate on the fly. In this case, the firewall proxies outbound SSL connections. It intercepts the SSL request and generates a certificate in real time for the site that the user wishes to visit. The validity date on the PA-generated certificate is taken from the validity date on the real server certificate when looking at the certificate information. The issuing authority of the Palo Alto generated certificate is the Palo Alto Networks device. If the firewall certificate is not part of an existing hierarchy, or it is not added to a client's web browser cache, then the client will receive a warning message when it is browsing to a secure site. If the real server certificate has been issued by an authority not trusted by the Palo Alto Networks firewall, then the decryption certificate will be issued using a second, untrusted CA key. This is to ensure that the user will be warned that there is a subsequent man-in-the-middle attacks occurring. The third item is to ensure that the proper certificate authority is on the firewall and export the certificate authority to install on the client machines. Loading or generating a CA certificate on the Palo Alto Networks firewall is needed because a certificate authority, a CA, is required to decrypt traffic properly by generating SSL certificates on the fly. Either a self-signed certificate authority needs to be created on the firewall, or a subordinate CA from your own PKI infrastructure needs to be imported, and then the forward trust certificate and forward trust certificate options need to be selected on one or more certificates before the firewall is able to decrypt traffic. Note: because the SSL certificate providers like Intrust, VeriSign, DigiCert, and GoDaddy do not sell certificates authorities, they are not supported for the use in SSL decryption. Now look at the firewall GUI. Please go to Device, Certificates Management, and then Certificates. Inside of here, underneath Device Certificates, we need to generate a new certificate. Inside of the certificate name, it can be anything that you want, but I'm going to choose to use SSL Decrypt as the name. And for the common name, I'm choosing the firewall's trusted internal IP address, which faces the client machines, which is 172.16.77.1. For the signed by, I'm going to choose to make this a certificate authority. I'm going to check certificate authority because the firewall itself is going to be generating certificates in real time.